Hey team! Today we're going to be working in Transaction Desk talking about creating templates. If you're going to be creating a template for your office, you do need to be a broker and have super user access. However, you can share a transaction template with your team members using the share option as well. Before you can share a transaction template with a group or a team, the group or team must first be defined. Before you can add a checklist to a template, the checklist template must also be defined. So let's go ahead and get started. In your navigation bar on the left-hand side, go ahead and head on down into templates. From here, we're going to click on Transaction Templates. You'll be able to see a running list of your templates here. If you have any individual templates created just for yourself, you will see just one silhouette. If there are templates created for your office, you will see two silhouettes. As you hover over, you'll be able to see that this is for the agent only versus transaction templates that are created for the office. This is a helpful tool as a broker to create for your office, especially for agents that might be new to the brokerage that do not know what forms or documents might need to be required for the various transactions that you'll be creating. Let's go ahead and start a transaction template together. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to click on your Add Plus button. The ownership option as a broker will give you the personal or office option. If you are an agent only, you will only have the personal option available. From here, you're going to select and type in a name for this transaction template. This could be something like Residential Buyer Offer Packet, which will then include all of the documents needed for an offer. Subsequently, you could also create another one for a residential listing packet. This could include the documents needed for an existing home listing or maybe a new construction listing. Let's go ahead and create one together. Down below, you will see the type option. In this case, I'm creating a residential listing packet for existing homes. So I will select the one for residential listing. However, if you are creating this for commercial, a condo, or potentially a residential sale, you would select the type that is most appropriate. This is very important because when you go to apply a template, Transaction Desk is going to ask you which type would you like to include. Based upon the type, it will pull the available options that you create here. You can also add a description in the category box below. This will give your agents or yourself a reminder as to when or how they might use this transaction template. Once you click Save, it will bring you into your detail bar. The details again, you can select between personal and office and modify the information you previously selected. Below, if there was a checklist created in your checklist templates, you could add the checklist template simply by clicking on the plus button. If you have a checklist that corresponds with this, you may simply click it here. When complete, click Add, and the checklist that you have created previously will attach to this transaction template. Meaning, if you start a transaction for the listing for an existing home, it not only will include the documents and any forms needed for the listing, but it will also give you the listing checklist items along with their task reminders and due dates. Below, you'll have a contacts bar. This bar, you would only want to enter any contacts that would be on every single existing home listing packet. You do not need to include yourself or your brokerage in this dropdown. This field is very helpful if you're working with, say, a builder, and the builder's name will always be on the new construction listing documents. They would then be a contact. However, in this case, because we're using this for a broad view, We're not going to be selecting any contacts at this time. Below, you will have documents and folders. When you click on this, you'll be able to see the folder is empty. Documents and folders are for documents that might be in-house, like an affiliated business disclosure or similar. Anything that your brokerage may have that needs to be signed by the consumer that would not otherwise be considered a form in Transaction Desk. Your office may already have these uploaded into the system if they have paid for the service with Transaction Desk. However, in most cases, you can simply click on the Add Plus button and you can click a folder or a document. Once you click this, you can upload from your computer's device, copy from the doc box, import from a third party, email and upload, or download a contact card. You can also drag and drop to the blue bar below, or you can click on the blue bar and it will give you your downloads option. You can go ahead and pull in the document that you want to upload, and it will then simply go here. If you needed to change the name of the upload, you can click on the hyperlink and it will give you the document. Simply click on the I for the properties and you can rename this document. When finished, click Close and the document is now been renamed. Down below, you'll find your forms. Forms are the documents that are already in the system that you can type on. To add those, you'll click on your Add Plus button on the right-hand side under Add Forms. Since we're with the Tennessee Realtors, we're going to have access to multiple forms. We're going to be concentrating on this year's Tennessee Realtors residential forms for this existing listing. If you are a Kentucky member, you can do the same as well for the Kentucky forms below. But we're going to go ahead and add in residential forms for this year. Using the search bar above, you're going to enter in all the documents that you're going to need. In this case, we're going to need a listing agreement. You might also need some additional documents such as the confirmation of agency, a property disclosure. The property may also be exempt for various reasons, so you may want to add that in as well because you do not know if you're going to need the 201 or the 203 for the transaction. You could also add in the 204, which is the disclaimer statement. This is utilized for as-is properties. You may also want to include the disclaimer notice if your office requires it, as well as the wire fraud. For personal interest, you may need the 305, and if the property has lead-based paint or was built before 1978, you may also need the lead-based paint disclosure. The property may also have a septic tank or subsurface sewage disposal system where there's a permit that needs disclosure. You can include this 208 as well. Notice as I click on the radial buttons to the right, they all enter into the basket above. The number on the basket tells me how many items I have in my list. Simply click Add when you are complete. The forms will now populate down below. As you hover over each line, a cursor will evolve. You can grab and you can drag the documents in any order that you'd like. If you don't need one of the forms in the list, simply click on the 3 menu dots to the right and delete the document. You can order this in any way that you like. I like to place them in numerical order so they stay in a nice consecutive order. Go ahead and take a moment to order your forms in whichever order you like. If there was a form that you forgot, you can go ahead and click on the Add button and add it in here. There may be additional forms that your office requires. I'm going to go ahead and add in the co-list agreement, just in case I need to co-list this property or any property that's using this template. Down below, you have a Teams and Sharing button. You do need to make sure that your Teams and Sharing features are turned on in your settings. If you have a group already created, you can click your Add button, select the team, click over the right arrow to move them to the right, and click Save. When complete, everything should look like this. If you made any modifications to the top, you can click Update. Otherwise, your transaction template is complete. Let's go ahead and utilize the transaction template in Motion. Simply click on your house and go to your transactions. Click your Add Plus button and create a transaction. Below, you'll have your template option. From here, you can click on your template and select the one that you have created from your list. If you'd like to import data from the multiple listing service, you can select your listing service here and enter in the MLS information. Notice it's recognizing that this is a listing packet, and so therefore it's adding me in as the listing agent. You can check or uncheck the wizard based off your preferences. When complete, click Create. Since the wizard box was checked, it's going to run me through the series of the wizard. Notice when I get to the forms, because I've used the transaction template, all the forms automatically appear in my forms list. The affiliated business disclosure also shows up in the list and any other additional documents. When complete, click Done. Now your transaction is ready to go. You can enter all of this information just like you would during the Create a Transaction. Now, hypothetically, let's say you did not create the transaction in this manner, but you wanted to add a template later. You can click the three menu dots at the top upper bar. From here, there is a button that says Apply Template. From here, it's going to give you the drop down with the same options. Maybe you started as a listing packet for the existing residential, but then there was a buyer that wanted to offer on the property. You can shift over to the buyer offer packet, click Apply, and all of the forms for the offer are now going to appear here in your forms list. You'll be able to view these in the order that you have set up in your settings. Mine is set to most recent in a descending order. So here they are based off of their date and their timestamp. And that's how you create a transaction template and apply it to the transaction. I look forward to seeing you at my next time. And if you have any questions, let me know.